class. So in the last class, we discussed very brief about the objective of the power electronics, and uh, power electronics is basically the combination of these three, that means the electronics, control and power, that we explained, and try to define the power electronics. A simple block diagram of what power electronics does, that we depicted, and as it does basically the control of the power from source to the load by the help of electronics, by using electronics. And what are the other way to control this power, that also we discussed, like by using variable resistance controller, variable inductor capacitor, and the last one is on-off controller. And in on-off controller we saw that we need less power compared to the, we waste less power in the controller itself compared to the other options. Okay, so then we discussed few properties and characteristics of power electronic controller, like leakage resistor, leakage current should be small, on-state voltage drop should be less. So these are few power electronic controller where we'll choose or select the specific power electronic controller for our study or our circuit. Then we have to think of these properties or characteristics. Okay, so these are the things we discussed in the last class. And at the end, one point I missed, or I think it is there. Is it there? Okay, so with the frequency, switching frequency, the size of the controller becomes less. That means the size of the controller varies inversely with the switching frequency. Okay, so let us take an example of the transformer. Okay. The transformer equation, so let us draw it first. Just a minute. Is the board visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. Suppose it's a transformer, and you know the transformer in 3D is something like this. Okay, so only the core portion I have drawn and the windings will be there. Okay, so let us draw the simple winding like this. And here you have the not like that, but still I'm just for the sake of understanding I'm drawing these figures. Okay. Now what is the cross sectional area here? If we take a square thing, so it will be the cross sectional area, isn't it? So what is the voltage? Voltage is almost equals to the input voltage, generally almost equals to the induced EMF, and that is equals to the, okay, it's a sinusoidal waveform, isn't it? Now if we find out the RMS of E1, RMS of E1, if I calculate, you know that it will come around 4.44 F phi m into omega. Sorry, not omega, should be the n, where n is the number of turns in this coil. I think you are all familiar with this expression because this is the basic expression of transformer, isn't it? Okay, so if this is the expression, then what will be the flux? So flux is E by 4.44 F into N1, isn't it? Now, if the frequency is increased, if this frequency increased, what will happen? If the other things are constant, then what will happen? The flux will reduce, isn't it? Are you getting?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So that means the flux requirement to develop the same voltage will be less, or same power transformation, that will be less. Okay, so let us write like this. So now what is your flux density? Flux density is pi m by a. Now if we try to operate the core at a particular flux density, okay, if my flux density is constant, so if this is reduced, so the area will be reduced. Okay, so that means what we are getting, if the flux, the frequency is increased, it results in the reduced area of the transformer core. Okay, so if the area of the transformer core is reduced, the size of the core will be reduced. Size of the core, that will be reduced. What else? Weight, both the volume is nothing but the size again, volume and weight, both will be reduced. Not only that, if this cross section area is less, now the winding which is wound around it, that also depends on the size of this core. Okay, so if we calculate that, so if this is the length of main turn, so this length of main turn also will be less. Okay, so that means less copper also. So that means both the two things will get reduced in size and reduced in cost, because you have to use less iron as well as less copper, and the okay, so less iron, less copper, and the volume also will be less. The weight or volume also will be less. Sometimes the weight of the device is does the matter. So therefore, so both way we are getting the advantage if we go for higher frequencies. Okay, now if I so I discussed it for transformer. If I think of an inductor, then also we'll get the same thing. Okay, are you getting? So if I this transformer, sometimes transformer is also used in power electronics. Now the thing which is mostly used is the inductor. In most of the power electronic circuits we use inductor, capacitor, etc. Now for inductor also, if we go for higher frequency, we can reduce the size. Not only that, we can reduce the cost as well. Okay, are you getting? That means in case of inductor, now what is inductor? Inductive reactance, that is omega L. So omega L equals to 2 pi Fl. Sorry, 2 pi Fl. And what is capacitive reactance? Capacitive reactance is 1 by 2 pi Fc. Okay, so that means if the frequency is high, to get the same capacitive, inductive reactance, we can keep our inductance low. So that means if the inductance is low, that means the size of the inductor, because inductor is nothing but a single winding transformer. In a transformer, if we have only one winding, it will be called inductor. Just like that, because for inductor also you need some iron core. Okay, so if the frequency is high, the inductance will be low. Okay, so here also if the frequency is high, the capacitor will be low. So this is how, though we call the power frequency, which we call power frequency, this lies between 0 to 400 hertz. Define power frequency as this. Though in India we use mostly 50 hertz. Okay, and in some countries we use the 60 hertz also. Okay, but in power electronics we use around, okay, so it's more than 1 kilohertz, sometimes up to 50 kilohertz we use for power electronics. Okay, so that means if we go for higher frequency, but again we have to come back to the 50 hertz or other frequency, because our available frequency is 50 hertz power frequency level. So that means we have to return back, we have to come back to this. But in the meantime, if we go for this higher frequency conversion, then the size of the controller or size of the power electronic equipment will be much smaller compared to the controller if it is designed for. Okay, so that is the first part of my discussion. Okay, so if you have any question, you can ask. Next, we'll go for the second part of my discussion, which is the power semiconductor devices.
Sir,
Hmm.
if we increase the operating frequency, the
Hmm.
machine size decreases. Then what is the compulsion of operating at 50 hertz? I mean, it can be anything between 0 to 400 hertz, as you said, the power frequency range. So why are not we using 400 hertz? Then the machine size, I mean,
Hmm.
transformer, in fact, every machine size will be reduced.
Okay, so that means, and some problem is there in higher frequencies like the losses. The core losses are high, and mostly our generators, alternators from where we are getting this frequency. Okay, mostly alternators, isn't it? Now, you see
Yes, sir.
how we can get very high frequency, because the frequency of the alternator is determined by the expression f equals to Pn by 120, isn't it? So if we
Yes, sir.
keep the minimum number of pole 2, then also the speed required is very high, 3000 rpm, which is very high for any alternator. Generally, turbo alternators are also rotated at the speed of 1500 rpm, not even 3000. Okay, so that means where we are generating the voltage, there also is a basically it's coming from the mechanical thing. So mechanically to rotate something at that speed is a critical issue. That is one thing. And the second thing is the losses, isn't it? That you have, I think you have studied
Yes,
that
sir.
with the frequencies, all these core losses becomes high. Okay, so these
Yes,
are
sir.
the issues. Therefore, we compromise, and this 50 hertz and 60 hertz becomes almost the convention. Now, if we want to reduce the losses, we can reduce the losses by selecting proper materials. Okay, but again, by selecting the material also, we cannot go for very high frequencies. Then the losses will be manifold. So therefore, some compromise we do in case of this 400 hertz, as I told you, which we use for the aircraft. Okay, so for 400, the aircraft we use 400 hertz frequencies. There are some compromise or some additional things are taken into consideration when designing this transformer, because in that case also, in 400 hertz also, the core losses will be much high. Is that clear?
Okay, sir.
That means your size will
Yes,
be
sir.
less, but your losses, the efficiency will be poor. And in transformer, that is a vital thing. That is a very important one, because what does a transformer do? Transformer changes the voltage level only, isn't it? So transformer don't dissipate the power. When a transformer, if you take an ideal transformer, it should not consume any power, isn't it? But due to some finite resistance and all, it or reactance, there is some voltage drop, and it also consumes some amount of power. But the efficiency always should be very high, is more than 90%, 95%. Okay, so transformer efficiency should be more than 95%. So if we go for higher frequency, that efficiency of the transformer would be very less. Okay. So these are the things for which we do some uh, compromise. So generally the power frequencies are used for most of the applications. For only power electronics application, we keep the frequency high. Okay, anything else? Okay, so let's start the device part. So I will start with power diode. Now, normal diode or PN junction diode we have already studied in analog electronic classes. So that is, in that diode there are only two layers or two substrates. One is the P substrate, another is the N substrate. And what is the anode and cathode? Which one? Can you tell me? Which is the anode? Because it is represented by this
Sir, enter.
enter key.
Sir, anode.
Is it?
So in cathode because connected to the negative terminal.
Correct. So this is the cathode and this is the anode. So here also this portion is the cathode and this is the anode. So this is the symbol of a diode. We can say normal diode, or which is used for signal amplifications, like that. This type of purpose. Okay, so then a normal diode or signal diode, you can say that you have already studied in your earlier classes. And the characteristics that you get for the diode is, generally the electronics people are very much familiar with IV characteristics rather than VI characteristics. Now we electrical people draw VI characteristics, but they are much familiar with the IV characteristics. So they draw the IV characteristics like this. Okay. So this is a simple signal diode which you have seen, which you have studied. Now what is the difference between this diode and the power diode? Now power diode can carry, from the name itself you can understand that it can carry much higher current and it can withstand much higher voltage compared to the signal diode. So let me write that: can carry much higher current and can withstand much higher voltage. Okay, so that means what is the change should be incorporated with the in the signal diode so that we can get these features, so that we should discuss. Okay, so the first thing which we incorporate in power diode is that both the substrates, that means P and N, both these substrates uh, doped with, heavily doped, heavily doped. Just a minute. Okay, so have you understood this term heavily doped? Hmm?
So what is the advantage of heavily doped?
So that I am coming later, but you just tell me what do you mean by doping?
Are introducing impurities.
What do you say?
Impurities to increase the carriers.
Okay, so what do you mean by the impurities?
More carrier, more hole.
Carrier. Okay,
Impurities.
so, or okay, so you are right. So that means doping means introducing something which is not there, isn't it? Okay. So that means for P substrate, what kind of doping you can incorporate?
Group 3
Tetravalent group 3.
Okay, so that means you will dope something which will increase your carrier, isn't it? What are the carriers for P-type substrate? The whole, isn't it?
Holes.
Hole.
And
Positive.
for N-type, it is
Whole.
electrons.
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 Okay, that means for the same area, the carrier will be much higher in numbers. So that is that is meant by heavily doped. So what is now you are asking that what is the advantage, isn't it? Somebody was asking me.
Yes.
So if we have
Yes, sir.
number of carriers are more, then we'll get the device can carry more current.
Yes.
So that is the advantage we'll get. But again, one disadvantage is there. What is that? So that means heavily doped, we can write that it will carry more current. That is the advantage we'll get. Okay, because the equivalent resistance, if the carriers are more, equivalent resistance is less. Now, what is all this? This we can say advantages. Now, what is disadvantages? Can you think of any disadvantages of this?
More heat is generated.
No, if the resistance is less, the current is more.
the size will increase.
But that depends. Okay, so size will increase definitely because a power diode and a normal diode will be different. But again, for normal diode, whatever the doping means, in a same size, you are having more carriers. Okay, so that means carrier density wise, always your power diodes are much better compared to the signal diode. Size is not the issue. Now, what is the disadvantage? So, as the resistance is less, the peak inverse voltage will be less. So, that is the disadvantage. So, as this resistance go less, so the PIV, peak inverse voltage, you know what is that? Peak inverse voltage is less. Okay, so I am not today. I will not discuss in a substrate level because I will discuss in the next class because before puja I don't want to go in that details. But from the next day we'll discuss in details in substrate level. So how we are actually getting this? But this peak inverse voltage, can anybody point that what is peak inverse voltage? Because this term I
The
think
maximum reverse bias.
Maximum reverse bias voltage that a diode has to face.
okay. So that means in diode there is some reverse recovery. It's a reverse breakdown voltage, isn't it? It can withstand some reverse voltage. Okay, so that means suppose if this is positive with respect to this, generally it should not conduct, isn't it? Should it conduct in this mode if this is negative and this is positive?
No, no, no.
Should not conduct. Okay,
Yes.
but there is a maximum value which it can, that a particular device can withstand. Are you getting? So that voltage will be less. Now, what are the way out? How to increase the peak inverse voltage? So for that, what we do, we use two layers of N substrate instead of one. So that means so already we have some P there. Okay, so let me draw. Okay, so I have not drawn it, isn't it? So the heavily doped, generally we draw like this: N plus P plus. So this means it is heavily doped. Okay, so this has these advantage and disadvantages. But what is the modification we can incorporate to give more PIV? So that is my discussion. So already you have the P plus layer. Now in the N plus layer, you have to make two layers. One is slightly less compared to the N plus, another is N plus. So this is a modification we incorporate to get a little better PIV compared to the earlier one. So this will give more PIV, compared to the heavily doped one. So that means I am not comparing with my signal diode. I am comparing this diode, which is having two layers of N, with the earlier one, that means the P plus N plus one. So compared to this, it will, just a minute. Okay. Uh, so this is the modification we incorporate in the power diode so that we can get a little bit higher resistance and thereby a little bit higher PIV. So here the resistance is also higher and little bit higher PIV. Okay, so one more advantage we have in this, though it is not a practical one. So let me draw the practical one so that you can. So next day I will discuss this device in details, but the practical diode is not exactly like this. It's a flat one compared to this, and it has basically two layers. One is N plus substrate and N minus substrate. In that you have very small layer of P. So this is your P plus. Okay, and this is your anode. This is the cathode. Okay, now this the density in that P plus layer is always 10 to the power 19 per centimeter cube. Okay, so that is the doping density of P plus layer. But that same density for A, so N plus layer also it is 10 to the power 19 per centimeter cube. That is the carrier density. But in case of N minus, it come down to 10 to the power 14 per cm cube. Okay. Now, so what is the size of this? If you want to understand what will be the exact size of this, so this is in the order of 10 micrometer, and this whole is 250 micro. Okay, so this is 250 micrometer in the order of that. Okay, so this is how, so actual this thing is made. Is that clear? I have drawn the typical figure of power diode, though there are different versions, different variation of power diode like general purpose diode, high speed first recovery diode, etc. So this is a typical structure, but there are variations like general purpose diode, or GP diode, high speed diode, high speed or first recovery diode. In high speed diode, you have again two variation. One is the super fast recovery diode, and ultra fast recovery diode. So another very popular one is called the Schottky diode. Okay, so discuss the first one, general purpose diodes. There, the recovery time, I will discuss the recovery time. So it is generally the recovery time. Have I written? Okay. So the general purpose diode or GP diode, where the recovery time, or it is called the reverse recovery time, or TRR. Okay, so it varies between 0.1 to 5 microsecond. Okay, and they can withstand a voltage of 50 to 5 kilovolt. Voltage of 50 volts up to 5 kilovolt. Okay, and available in several hundreds of ampere. They are available, this type of GP diode or general purpose diodes are available in several hundreds of amperes current rating, and voltage ranges between 50 to 5 kilovolt. And this type of these diodes are used in UPS system, battery charging, etc. So if we write down the applications where the general purpose diodes are used, okay, so they are used in
So
normal
what is meant by reverse recovery time?
reverse recovery time.
What is meant by reverse recovery time, sir?
Okay, so that I will discuss. Okay, so reverse recovery time means when we'll apply reverse voltage. Okay, so then a phenomena occurs that is called the reverse recovery phenomena, and the current becomes negative in that region. Again, it tries to be try to zero. So that means suppose some positive current is flowing. Suddenly, I have applied some reverse voltage. Then the current reduced to zero. Again, it becomes negative. Then again it becomes positive. So that means like this, I will discuss in this details. So suppose some positive current the diode is carrying. Okay, so if we apply some voltage, reverse voltage here, what it will do, it will go first zero, then it will be negative, then again it will be positive, and it's not positive, it will be zero. Okay, so this phase is called the TRR, reverse recovery time. Okay,
Okay, sir.
sometimes this whole time is called the reverse recovery time. Not only this portion, but the whole time is the reverse recovery time. Okay, so applications are fractions. Fraction means the railway application, because you know that most of the short distance railways, that means the metro, suburban railways, use DC for their motors. So that means DC motors are used, but normally the supply we have is AC. So in that we use this type of power diodes. And the UPS, uninterruptible power supplies, we use general purpose diode, and also the battery chargers, because nowadays the battery chargers are much popular. Battery chargers, because you have chargers for these electric vehicles. Okay, otherwise for your mobile and all, the charger size is very less, but still we need some uh, we need some diode, but that is very small in size, though it is a power diode. But for larger size battery chargers, we use the general purpose diodes. Okay, now the next one is the high speed. So under high speed you have two category. One is called the super fast. So in case of the super fast recovery diode, there the TRR varies from 75 to 100 nanosecond. It's very fast. And your ultra fast recovery diode, that TRR varies from 25 to 50 nanosecond. So this is the difference. Okay. So any question up to this? No, I think. Any question? Okay, so next we have to
Sir,
start. Bola, Sanj.
sir, TRR should be which is better? TRR should be less or
TRR
high?
should
Which
be
is
less.
better?
TRR should be less. Otherwise, again, the last day
Okay.
also we discussed the device frequency will be less. If we can operate the device at a higher frequency, we'll get some specific advantages. Or if the reverse recovery time itself is high, then the operating frequency will be less, which is not required. Because the off time, okay, so if this is TRR and some time is there, that is the forward current. So this total means this off time, T off. So this T off will be, if this is high, then the frequency at which the device will be operated, we cannot keep very high. Okay, so that is the disadvantage of this higher TRR. And why? What is the exact phenomena which is occurred at this reverse voltage when we apply the reverse voltage on state, when the diode is in on state? That I will discuss in the next class, because before that we have to discuss a little bit on the uh, device level. That means what is the space charge region, what is the reverse bias situation, forward bias situation. So many things we have to discuss before that. Otherwise, you won't understand why we are getting this reverse recovery phenomenon. Okay. So I'm not going into that today because that will need a complete class. So today we'll stop here. We'll take only 1 hour class for today. And after puja, we'll start a new class on power electronics. So if you have any other doubt, you can ask me. Or okay, so before that, let me take the attendance. Just a minute. You just wait for some minute. Though today's attendance is very poor. I don't know why. Any specific reason?